In this video, you're going to learn how you can create professional looking tables in WordPress. And to do that, we are going to install now a plugin that's called Websimon Tables. To do that, log in into your WordPress dashboard and choose on the left side Plugins, Add New, and search for Websimon. And here we are, Websimon Tables is the plugin that we want to install now. Click on OK and confirm that you want to activate the plugin. Now when the plugin is installed, we find under Tools, Websimon Tables, a new entry where we can create our tables. Now here we are in the overview of this Websimon Tables plugin, and we can start right away to create our first table. Let's call this table product, and then we enter the number of rows, let's say like 3, and also the number of columns, we choose 3. Then we click on add table, and afterwards we see that down here a new entry appears, which refers to our new table that we want to create. And to start entering data, we click here, edit table, and can start enter our data. Now let's say on the header, we say we want to have here the products, and the next one maybe color, and the last one maybe price. Now when we are done with entering the data, it's very important that we click on Save Table down below here, because else we might lose all the data we just entered. Now let's have a look at the options on this page. As you see on the left side and on the top there are some nice icons, and what they mean is, for example, the arrow up, it says that you can move this row up above device A in this case. Let's do that. And after we click it, device B is above device A. Well, in this case, that doesn't make sense, so we click the arrow down, which moves the row one line below. And the X is basically to delete this row. And this sign here says you can create a new row below this row. So that's very nifty and handy if you want to edit your table later again. So you don't have to create a new one, you can really be flexible with this tool. The same thing for the columns up here. You can delete them, you can create a new one, or you can move them left or right. Now when we have all the data in and all looks good, we save the table content again. I cannot stress that enough. This is really important that you save your data more than you think you actually need. So then we click on Edit Table Structure and Style. So we really can give our table a look. This plugin is pretty cool because it shows you always down here how your table currently is looking if you would put it onto your website. So, but this doesn't really look nice. Let's give this a twirl. Now we have several options here. First, you see here the skin option. By default, minimalist white is chosen, but you can actually choose a different one. Let's say we choose here financial and click Save Table Settings. And then we see again how this is going to look. Okay, it looks pretty cool as well. Let's keep going with this one. Now we have some more detail options that we can choose, like the font size of the table header, which is the upper row here. I actually like this one here. You can change the line height and the text alignment. I actually don't like that this is all here centered, so we choose here not center but left. And then we can also change, of course, the font size for the table body, which is the cells below the table header. This is fine. And also the line height is fine in this case. But I also want those other cells to be left aligned and not in the center. We can also choose the vertical alignment, but this is in this case very well. So we leave it as it is. And by default, the tables are shown with 100% width. That means they are always using the space that they can get. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not. Like in this case, there is very few data. So we can actually say we want to have this smaller if you know a width, let's say like in this case 380 pixels, then it can set this fix for wherever you put it on your website. It will always be 380 pixels width. So in this case, this is really good when it's a bit smaller than if it's using the whole width. We can also give this a custom cell padding. What that is, let's give here a bigger number like 10 pixels to see how that looks like. And when I enter 10 pixels, you will see that each entry gets more padding around it. So sometimes that can be needed, but in this case, I think it's fine if this is not set at all. And then again, we have the number of rows that we could define here, but that's right as it is. You also have the option to define the column width, and this can be very cool if you have, for example, very long product names. So if the product name is, let's say, goes until the center, you can choose here in column 1, 50%, and in column 2, 25, and in column 3, 25 again. And let's save and see how this looks like. And as you see now, the first column is much wider than the other two. So this is really nifty and handy if you really have long names. Let's set this back here to evenly. Good. There are some more options that you can do, like you can here have a table footer. That's the footer down here. And for such a small table, it doesn't make sense to have the header again in the footer reflected. So we disable this here. You can also show horizontal borders, which are the borders up here, and they're actually quite cool. So we leave that. You can also have vertical borders. So let's see what happens here. What it does, it will add a vertical line between the cells, as you see now here. This can be handy to keep the readability well for the user. Now, a thing that I like also for complex tables is the hover effect. If you activate this, the following will happen. Whenever you go over your table with the mouse cursor, the table will light up with a background color. So this can increase the readability of your table too, and it looks quite cool. So we leave this here, although it's not really needed in this case. And what I forgot is the CSS tree shadow. That's also an option that you can set. You see here there is a tiny shadow below, and if we disable this, it will look like this. So it's just a normal table with no shadow on the side. But if you really want to emphasize on your table, actually keep it in. It might look well on your website. You can still edit this later. So we put it back here and go with that. The last option is you can actually remove the header. The header is this part up here, as we saw before, and sometimes you don't really need that. So you can actually say here, remove it, and then this will be disabled. But in this case, we leave it. Now we are actually ready to roll. Let's save this again. So as I said, really save your table as often as you can, because sometimes it can happen you make changes and you forget it, and then you have to do it all again. Now, how do we actually put the table on our website? Now, with this plugin, it works like this. You see here a shortcode, and this shortcode refers to your table. Now we copy this here with copy or Control-C, and then we go create a new page or a post, or if you already have one, you go edit it. But in this case, we add a new one, and we call it, let's say, like test page for the table. And then we just enter the code here. If you have a text block, let's say this here, this is a test text, and you want to have it between text blocks, you just put it there where you want to have it. So now it's really in between two text blocks. Now we click here on preview, and WordPress generates a preview of the page with the text and our nice table on our website. So basically that's it, that's how it goes. Let's have a quick look how we can edit this table now again. If you say, okay, we need to change something. So you go again to under Tools and you choose Websimon Tables. And then you choose your table here. That's this one here. We see here is also the shortcode if you need it later again. And we go here and choose Edit Table Content. And we can, let's say, we don't want device A, we want to call it this product here, device 2, whatever. You can make your changes as you want, and we save the table content. And maybe we decide we don't like this style anymore of the table, so we can go to Edit Table Structure and Style, and we choose a different theme. Let's choose this one time light blue, and we save the table settings. And we're all set. We don't need to reapply any new code because it just uses this code here. That means when we save the table here again, it automatically updates this table on the website. So we'll reload this page. And we see now the table updated with the product device 2 and the new color theme. So that's it, a quick overview of the Websimon table plugin. It's very cool, very good for beginners and also for more advanced users. So give it a try and use it for your tables on your WordPress website.